City, it's me again, Chris Burkhardt here. Plenty of news to get to today around the world, but we're going to focus it on Portland because there was big news for the Rose City today as it was officially announced in a press conference. It's probably still going on right now as we speak, that the WNBA will be adding a 15th franchise, and it will call Portland home. That will start in, 2026? But the WNBA is back in Portland. That is fire, pun intended. In other sports news, there was a Woj bomb this morning that I don't think anybody expected. Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN announcing his retirement from the game. That is right. Adrian Wojnarowski now going to be the GM of his alma mater. Have fun with that. That's crazy. Who's going to take his job? We'll talk about it here. Coming up, 3 hours of sports talk on the Rip City Drive. Well, hello there, Rip City. Welcome into the Rip City Drive. Chris Burkhardt here with you one more day today. Chad Doing will be back tomorrow. You can follow me on X at Chris J. Burkhardt. And as always, you can follow my good friend, the Godfather, Dwight Janes, over at Dwight Janes. Dwight, how are you doing today?
Pretty good, Chris. Pretty good. Woke up and it hadn't rained yet, and it hasn't seemed to rain all day. I'm always happy when it doesn't rain.
Yeah, some people are only happy when it rains,
Yeah,
right?
I know.
It's a good song, by the way. Cue that one up at some time in the show. You know, before we get into sports talk, I got gripes.
Uh-oh.
You know,
Uh-oh.
people, Dwight. If I was in the morning show, this would be get off my lawn time. But I stopped today. I left the office and I went to Costco real quick. Had to pick up some amino, get a little caffeine. Wife needs some. Grab that. I go to leave, and when you leave this Costco, it's a four-way stop, right? And you got traffic going every which way. There's this person in the turn lane to go left, right? They decide in the truck that they're in, no less, that they didn't want to turn left. They wanted to pull a Yui. And so this person, when it's not even their turn to go, just turns to the left and starts going. But there's only one lane, not enough room to pull a Yui, and they're in a big truck. So you ever see that scene in Austin Powers where he has the little go-kart, the little orange cart, and he's stuck in the hall and he's just going back and forth? That was this lady trying to U-turn her truck in the middle of this four-way intersection with all the cars just starting to back up. I'm the guy who's like, honk the horn, like, come on, let's go. Her passenger looks at me like I'm an idiot. And I'm like, you are the center of the universe, apparently.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I'm honking out of the respect to everyone here that you were holding up. Like, well, what in your right mind made you think that was a good or legal idea? Just hold everybody up. And they're there. They were just in the middle of this road, this lane, just trying to U-turn to get out. And then they do the thing that annoys me even more than anything is when they finally get where they're just oblivious to anything, to everyone giving them the evil eye. Like, no, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, I was irritated.
That's so selfish to do things like that.
Yes.
Because you have other people who need to get somewhere. I mean, usually, if there's a four-way stop, half of those people, 2 of the 4 cars, they're probably late for something. You know, they need to get somewhere.
Right.
And there you are, just yourself, for your own stupid reasons, delaying them.
Yes.
Ugh.
And then they finally get where they're going, and they go up, and then they get into the right turn lane to get back on the main road, which just the irony of it all is if they would have just turned left like they were intended, that road would have gone to the next road where they could have took a left and got right back to the main road. Instead, they took 5 minutes of everybody's time. Like the people who were looking at me because okay, like what is going on here? I'm just like, this is wild. Like,
yeah, and this is a little different area here, you know. If you honk at somebody,
oh yeah,
you're kind of a bad guy around
you are.
here.
I know.
It's
I
not
did
like
it.
New York or
I did it.
L.A. or
I
something
did
like
it.
that.
I learned because I remember the very first time I drove in California, going through San Francisco with my buddy. I'm like, you guys honk at everything. Like I was getting honked for being stopped at a red light in San Francisco, but it was more like, come on, like I get, okay, at this point you're already committed, so we're all going to let you do it, but can you at least do your dumb U-turn with a little bit of a sense of urgency for the people around you, cuz you were this person was taking their time. And it always annoys me when cars act like that, because then I finally got where I was going, and it's 2 lanes to turn left. Well, I was trying to get onto I-5 to come here, and the right lane gets into the on-ramp. The left lane doesn't. And then I realized, oh, crud, I'm in the left lane. I don't usually come from this angle. So did I, slow down traffic and nope, I just kept, I missed the on-ramp, just kept going, because guess what? There's always another on-ramp somewhere down the line. I'm not about to cause a traffic accident because I'm impatient and rude. Someone the other day on the freeway was about to miss their exit. I kid you not, came to a complete stop on the freeway.
Oh, God.
Oh, my. I was freaking out. I was so mad. Like, you're going to cause an accident.
That's a good way to get hurt.
Yes. To a complete stop until they hit to try to get over. Again, I can see 3 exits up there. Just go take the next one. You're going to be fine.
Yeah, that's not good.
That was my gripe for the day. I needed it.
Appreciate it.
It's not just Godfather gripes. You don't have to be the Godfather. Everyone says, "Oh, that's an old man take." Nope. Old man yells at clouds. No, young man gets irritated too. Okay.
Well, you're allowed to yell at clouds.
Yes.
There's no age limit on that.
There is no age limit on that. That's absolute. But yeah, I was just like, this is okay, people. I just want to get where I'm going safely. Okay. Don't do dumb stuff that puts us all in jeopardy. That's all. All right. Now we got that off my chest.
Mm-hmm.
Big news in the city of Portland today, Dwight. We talked about it a little bit yesterday.
Yeah,
because again, shout out to Sean Hyken of the Rose Garden Report. He may join us today at 5:20. I say may because he's got a very, very busy afternoon with everything that's happened today. But he reported 2 weeks ago that the WNBA was planning on expansion and that Portland was going to be one of the cities to get a team. Yesterday, the WNBA, you and I talked about it, tweeted out, what's better than 14 as a hint to expansion. And again, everyone started talking about, it's Portland, it's Portland, it's Portland. In the middle of our show yesterday, we started getting press releases that were like, special event for the media tomorrow, 2:30, for a special announcement. And okay, we're all putting the pieces together. But the announcement finally became official today. Press conference that happened about a half hour ago at Moda Center, that Portland is indeed being awarded the 15th franchise in the WNBA. No name or anything yet, but a big day for fans of women's basketball.
Yeah, I would agree. I think I'm very happy for those with young girls who are basketball players, who might want to be basketball players, who now have, starting in a couple of years, role models in town, games to go watch with women playing, role models, a goal for them at some point in time. Very happy about that. I just hope, and I know nobody's saying things like this because it would be construed as negative. I hope that league has enough players to stock 3 more teams, because there's going to be 3 teams in the next couple of years going into that league. And that's always a concern when a league expands, is do you have enough players to make teams competitive? And I worry about what the Portland team might end up as a roster for a roster. Because often when you go into, they don't even though you're not going to have a good team, they don't give you the top picks in the draft sometimes. Right. You might have to take something outside the top 5. It's going to be a while before you're going to get a good team, I would assume. And it's going to probably dilute talent in the league overall. We'll see.
I do think that the women's game has got to a point where I think there's always been talent, but the top end talent is as good as it's ever been. But again, the top end isn't the depth, right? You need the depth to build out those rosters, and there's certain players in the league right now that sometimes you watch them play, and you're like, okay.
Yeah. Well, see, and I think there's a bigger gulf now because of the superstars coming in. There's a bigger gulf between the superstar and the average player than there has been, because those great players now are really, really great. They're really good players.
Yeah,
they're the best we've ever seen, and so then the rest of the team is not. And so it's going to take time for that. And I'm sure that with the league expanding, more people will start playing. The talent pool will get bigger, and eventually it'll catch up.
Yeah, and I hope it does. Either way, even if it's a bad team, I'm excited. I told you this yesterday. There's various reasons. Being a father of 3 girls, I know how important it is to them and the representation. And I was actually talking to my wife about that today. Like, some people don't understand like what representation matters means because maybe they're just so used to having it. But like I was telling my wife, I was like, there was a reason that I grew up and The Rock was my favorite wrestler. And it wasn't because he was The Rock and everyone else liked him. It was because his grandfather, High Chief Peter Maivia, right, looked like my grandpa. They were from the island of Hawaii, like my grandparents. The stories he told reminded me of, and so that representation made me gravitate to that particular wrestler because again, he was proud of his Hawaiian roots, and so was I, and like that's cool, and that representation made me gravitate to it. And so same thing when you're a young girl and you have these pro sports teams, and quite frankly, Portland is one of the best cities in the world for that with the Thorns and now this WNBA team. That representation is huge. So that gets me just excited as a dad. And then, the chance to see Sabrina come back to town, the chance to see Caitlin Clark fill it up. I know if you get Chad on here to talk about it, he's going to geek out about what needs to happen for Cameron Brink to come play for the Portland team because he loves her. So there's a lot here to be excited about, wins or losses aside.
Yeah, there's no question. And adding more sports to our calendar here is always a good thing. That's what we're about. We need more pro sports. We just have been underserved for so long.
Yes. So give it to me.
I'm all for bring in an ATP, a tennis tournament in here. Bring the men's golf tour here. I loved it that there was a live tour last year. Yeah, it's not the PGA tour, but at least it was pro golfers on a high level. I want more pro sports here.
Right? I mean, you had the one up at Chambers up in Seattle area that did pretty well. When you get the Winco Food Portland Open, that's not the pros. Those are the guys battling for their PGA card, but that's still a lot of fans there and a really cool environment. Right. I mean, it was here for a little bit, it left, and then it came back. But like I love the IndyCar races over at PIR, seeing the best of the best on the track. Really flipping cool. So yeah, I'm with you. If you could get more, if you could get a tennis tournament in here and a chance to see some of the best in the world out there on the clay or whatever, that'd be cool. That would be really cool. I want to see it happen now.
Me too. We just don't have a facility for a tennis thing like that. You need multiple courts. Around here, you'd need probably at least one covered court.
Right.
And then, but we got plenty of great golf courses that could host a PGA event. It's a shame we haven't gotten one.
Couldn't you put a makeshift court like inside Moda and do a tournament I mean, you don't have one court, I guess. You need more than that.
But that's the problem. When you run a big tournament, you need those outside courts where the early matches are played, the unseeded players and all that, and the doubles. And, it's quite an undertaking.
Yeah. It's kind of a shame that it's so far south, and so you don't get the hotel situation that you need. But God, Bandon would PGA Tour at that golf course, because that's a marquee course right there.
I'm surprised they haven't played some sort of a big tournament down there.
That'd be nice.
Yeah,
that'd be nice. I feel like if with anything else in this world, you could probably build temporary hotels. You just put them up, bring them down.
Well, there's more hotels now than there used to be, but still not enough. And then the access to the town is not. I mean, there's the small airport. There are some airlines now flying in there, but not what you'd need to get any kind of big crowd in.
Yeah, well, and don't disparage roofball either. Portland is the home of roofball.
It's the national headquarters and home of roofball.
That's right.
Shout out Adam Willis.
All right. Yeah. Hey, when we come back, there was a Woj bomb this morning, and it might be the last one for quite some time. We'll talk about it coming up on the Rip City Drive. Welcome back into the Rib City Drive. Chris Burgar here with the Godfather Dwight Janes. And Dwight, there was a Woj bomb this morning, and I'm one of the crazies who my notifications for Haynes, Shams, and Woj are on all year long.
Really?
I don't turn them off. They're always on. So I got a Woj bomb this morning, and my reaction was, okay, who signed a two-way deal with what team today? Because that's about all that's going on at this this time of the season.
You're correct.
But no, it was a statement from Woj. It's I grew up son of a factory worker 2 miles from ESPN's campus. Only ever dreamed of making a living as a sports writer. 37 years ago, the Hartford Courant gave me my first byline, and I never stopped chasing the thrill at all. This craft transformed my life, but I've decided to retire from ESPN and the news industry. And he goes on to add more, but that's the big one right there. Adrian Wojnarowski retiring from the news industry, taking a job at his alma mater, St. Bonneville, right? Is that what it was?
Bonaventure.
Or Bonaventure, excuse me, the Bonnies. And he's going there, going to be the GM. This is my I'm going to ask you that one in a second. But it's just kind of crazy. I didn't expect him to retire. He'd taken a job here with his alma mater, and it opens up all sorts of doors. But, I mean, I don't know. Did you have a reaction to Wojnarowski sending his final Woj bomb?
Well, I had a couple reactions. Number one, I was shocked. I was surprised to hear it. He's very well paid, and he was about, I think, to get some sort of an extension or raise from them. One he just got a few years ago, but he was making huge money. He's probably made big money long enough that it won't hurt him to just walk away from it.
Right.
I my first thing was to text Chris Haynes and say, "You're the guy. you got to be the guy that replaces him." And had an exchange with Chris, who I believe had already been talking to ESPN because he is a free agent. He left, his contract ran out with TNT, and every time his contract runs out, he takes his free agency. He learned from Kirk Cousins, I think. I told him he's the Kirk Cousins of NBA media because he always maximizes his contract opportunities. He and Shams are rumored to be the top candidates to replace Woj. Yeah, that was my thing. And I was also amused that he's taking the title general manager at St. Bonaventure. And Chris, the funny thing is, I read somewhere about a month ago, I don't know if it was Andrew Brandt or somebody in the sports business field said, expect colleges now to hire general managers for their athletic programs because NIL, transfer portal, contributions, everything they're getting in is so much to do with money. You have to be able to get along with the coaches. You have to be able to let them prioritize what they want to do with their money. But somebody has to be the watchdog of this program on what's going on with the money going in and out. And even, I think, being responsible for no violations of any kind under NCAA rules, such as they are nowadays.
I mean, to be fair, the athletic director has a lot on their plate to begin with.
Yes.
So take it off a little bit.
Yeah.
That's usually what they're doing, and they have a couple of assistants. But, man, think of an athletic director because people always think of the ADs. I mean, like, for instance, we were talking about realignment the last few days, and Scott Barnes has been, forward-facing for that. But, he oversees more than just football for Oregon State University, right? Because they have volleyball and men's and women's basketball and wrestling and baseball and all this stuff that he has to oversee and make sure everything. So a general manager for, like Woj, it's not for the entire university. It's the men's basketball team.
Right.
So,
and to be fair,
focused.
Yeah, to be fair, a lot of these ADs now have a lot of assistant ADs that they put like, okay, he's the baseball AD and he's the football AD and basketball AD. But by the same token, they do need help because they not only have the money side of it right now, but the whole idea of the biggest thing they do is hire coaches, and particularly hire football coaches, because if they don't make the right hire there, they get fired. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter what else is going on with the school. That's what everybody's looking at. That's what their future fate resides in, that hire. So they have to be really up to date on all that. Then they have to supervise the scheduling of all the teams. Then they have to be responsible for home games, the way that their stadium is prepared and the way it looks, and the visiting team being accommodated, And the SID department, they have to supervise that, which is more important than a lot of athletic directors give it credit for. So, yeah, they have a really tough job.
Yeah, and so I'm thinking St. Bonaventure may have backed up the Brinks truck, though, to get Woj, because
I
he
would
had to be
guess.
making a pretty little penny at ESPN. I mean, well into the, the mills. So,
Oh,
yeah.
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 To the tens of mils.
Yes.
Yeah. And so they got to be paying him at least $1 million a year, I would think.
Yeah.
At least.
To be fair, I mean, I would take a pay cut, too, if, University of
Alma
Oregon
mater.
called me up, hey, we want you to have this big job for us. And
Yeah, but you'd have to quit working here, Chris. You wouldn't want to do that.
No. I'd just take the remote kit from Shacker, and I would still host shows. I'd be like, it'd be like Doug Gottlieb, right?
Right. Yeah.
Work for coach a basketball team, and still keep my radio show.
Right.
I could never leave you, Dwight. The thing, you thought you got rid of me when we left NBC, and you came here, but then I came back.
You followed me. Like
it was all you,
little puppy dog.
I am.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm always surprised at Gottlieb that he can coach a D1 basketball team and then do that talk show 5 days a week. Once the season starts, I have a feeling we're not going to be hearing him on the radio.
Might get a couple more. Chris Burkhart's in for Chad Doing, right? Might get a couple more of those for old Doug Gottlieb once the show goes. But that is crazy. But it's funny because you went into my next question, because I was like, what the heck is a basketball GM in college? But I didn't even think about it that way. It absolutely makes sense with the changing face of NIL, having someone who understands that side of the business a little bit more, because an athletic department or athletic director, they're running that money side too, but their focus isn't necessarily the NIL deals, the money, and all other things that really can be encompassed by one position.
Yeah, and they have all those sports to look out for, and everybody now has their hands in the NIL pool. It's not, we keep thinking it's just basketball and football, but I guarantee at Oregon State, players are being taken care of, not to the extent that the quarterbacks are or whatever, but I'm sure there's money going out to the baseball players. It's a successful program, and I'm sure they have boosters who are using NIL to take care of the baseball players.
Right. And there's levels to it, like you said. Yeah. It's obviously everyone thinks of football in the big name schools, but Portland State has to battle with the Montanas of the world, right?
Yeah,
and the Idahos and Idaho States, and it might not be the same.
State, all those teams,
might not be what Oregon is offering, but you're still going to find ways to incentivize these students to come play for you. So, that's an interesting job there for Woj, and not to mention, I mean, I don't think there's anything they could throw at him. Like if they're like, hey, you're gonna do this for us. He's like, I'm 9 to 5, right? Like I'm 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, occasional games here and there. You mean I don't have to be sending tweets at 2:30 in the morning on the night of free agency? Might be kind of nice for the guy after doing it for so long.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's funny though, the whole NIL thing. I heard the Arkansas athletic director talking about NIL. He said the first year they told their players, look, name, image, likeness. You are free now to go out and find people willing to pay you for like emceeing an event, make an appearance, signing autographs, sell pictures of you, whatever you want. But basically, the players were in charge of earning their own money, which I think is the way NIL was originally sort of expected to be. And they said, we just got left behind totally. And, you just can't exist that way anymore.
No.
You have to have these collectives coming in with the money. And now I understand the rules are next year, the schools themselves will be allowed to throw money into that pot. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens too. And that's why Tennessee has gotten into that game of, what are they calling that?
The talent fee.
Talent fee, yeah.
10% added to their tickets.
Yeah, it's a ticket surcharge.
Yeah, so, well, there you go. Now, outside of Woj, though, you mentioned it a second ago, that it's obvious that the two main players here would be Shams and Haynes.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing.
It's those are two guys. I mean, one guy is his protege, right? He worked for Woj over there at Yahoo when Woj was still at Yahoo, and then he started scooping him, and then Woj got the job at ESPN.
Woj didn't like to be scooped, either by him or Chris Haynes.
Yeah, and he was getting scooped by Shams, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And Chris is been doing it too. And I mean, for me, selfishly, I would lean towards Chris because we used to work with him, and he's a
Yeah.
wonderful fella. But I mean, for everything that ESPN does when it comes to breaking the news, and the fact that they do the rights with the TV deals and this and that, Chris makes the most sense to me because he's forward facing, and he's, yes, Shams is on, or Shams is, how you pronounce it, but on camera too. But I mean, Chris is much more tailored to that side of things and can help them in ESPN. And then plus the relationship he has with the players might be unmatched.
I think he has a much better relationship with players. I think Shams is more of an agent guy, which Chris touches that base too. Trust me.
I always joke with people that was like, if Woj broke it, it came from a GM. If Shams broke it, it came from an agent. If Chris broke it, it came from a player.
Pretty much correct. Yeah. I think for the most part,
right,
that's a good generalization. Now, every once in a while they cross
of
over,
course,
but in general, that's correct. Absolutely.
I'll tell you this. It'd be nice to be either Sharania or Haynes right now, because either way, they're both getting paid.
They're getting
because
the bag.
I believe Sharania's contract is up too, so he's going to be in negotiations. And say ESPN says that they want Shams. Well, then the Athletic's going to be like, okay, well, hey, Chris, knock, knock, knock.
Yeah.
How you doing? You want to come over here? We'll give you a pay bump.
And there's really very few people doing that particular niche kind of work anymore. Now that Woj is retired, there's just the two of them who are doing that sort of transaction sort of news, where every time a team signs even a two-way guy, they're all over it. They got it. They're first by 10 seconds out there on social media. So, and that is a specific kind of thing that a lot of writers don't want to waste their time on. It's just not worth it. And the trades you have to make with GMs or agents to get those stories, a lot of people think they're not worth making.
Yeah, and that is definitely what those types of reporters have come down to. It's just quick news breaking. I mean, Woj would occasionally write an article, but it wasn't a deep dive article. It was just an article with a couple quotes and his tweets embedded, right?
Yeah.
Chris doesn't write as much of the deep dive stuff as he did, like when he was with NBC, and he was an insider for us.
Yeah.
And Shams definitely not, because he's done a little bit more of the TV side facing for Stadium. And so, they focus on social.
And really, Woj was known for getting a scoop, and then magically a couple weeks later, you could tell who gave him the scoop because a glowing article was posted on their website about that person. He was famous for that. He would trade, a favorable story for those scoops.
Well, my favorite was when he would do it, and it wasn't, he didn't get the story, but you could tell that he put in a little bit of the GM speak when it's like, Team X traded for, John Jones, a really good up-and-coming talent who a lot of players think has the potential to be a superstar in this league, a great jump shot, and really underrated defensively. I'm like, you never add that extra fluff. Where'd that come from? Yeah, you were doing someone a solid.
Yeah, and he'd like to do that because it made the guy who made the trade look better. It's like, wow, that's quite a trade he just made. He got this guy that nobody thought was any good, and he's going to be a good player. And there was a lot of that done over the years. And I know there was a lot of, I would say, disappointment among other media members that it was done so frequently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a weird. It's interesting because I felt like in the last few years they both, Shams and Woj were the most forward facing with this attempt to beat each other to the punch. Like even talking to fans, fans got tired of it. Like fans got like, that's just give me something harder hitting than this guy just signed this deal, because the team's going to announce it anyway eventually.
Right. 10 seconds later, he only won by a few seconds.
Yeah. And then everyone gets the quote tweet it with officially official, like, okay, whatever.
Well, and the other thing is Woj ruined the draft.
Yes.
For a while. He ruined the draft by releasing names early. And it did take away the drama of the draft.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure ESPN told him to knock it off because over the last few years, especially last
year,
he was a lot quieter.
Yeah.
I just laughed because he was always trying to fit in a different word. Like, the Blazers have targeted Scoot Henderson.
Right.
The Hornets have lasered in on Brandon Miller.
We know they really like Brandon Miller.
Right. Like, always finding a different descriptor to decide that they're going in. But good for Woj, man. Good for Woj. It was just, I didn't expect that Woj bomb. And now there's going to be a big bidding war because there's two really good candidates to replace him. and they're both going to get paid. And if anyone from the Athletic or anyone's listening, I'll take a job out there if it's open. I'll come compete with Shams and Chris. I can't compete though. I'll try though.
Yeah, I think you need to get on some sort of. You need to get on their radar.
I'll try.
Yeah.
I need to be more controversial on this radio so my takes go viral.
I'm all for that if you'd like to do that. I'd be happy to showcase your efforts here.
Tell you what, though, Dwight, it is so easy. I'm going to go soapbox for a second on our guy Haynes. It's so easy to root for that guy, understanding
what a story, huh?
How he started out here and was making peanuts, right? And just,
making nothing.
Yes, yes. And then when he was. Dwight's not joking. Dwight is not joking. And then he gets that insider gig, and he's still making far less money than most insiders would make. And then dude just grinds and grinds and grinds, and then gets over to Cleveland to cover LeBron for a little bit, and he's over in the Bay with the Warriors. And next thing you know, he's ESPN and Yahoo, and he's bouncing around, and he's a big player in the game. And it's the rise is incredible, man, because that guy worked for it.
Yeah, I'll never forget. The first time I saw him was in a locker room after a game, and I thought, who is this guy? And because we didn't see a lot of media members of color in the locker room. And then I saw him again and again, and then we really talked for the first time at a Blazer draft night. How you'd go over there and they'd have dinner and everything. And I sat down next to him at dinner. We were having cheeseburgers. And I started talking to him, and he filled me in. He was writing for free for Slam magazine. Mm-hmm. And I thought, my goodness, really? And then he said he was working. His day job was as security at a high school,
right.
A suburban high school here. Not even in town, but pretty far outside of town. And I thought, man, oh, man, this guy's working awfully hard for somebody doing it for free. And I kind of got his family story. And then at that time, we were looking for somebody to cover the team. And I went, thank goodness, Kevin Barry had the good sense. He was our boss, Kevin Barry. Shout out, Kevin. Kevin was smart enough to say, let's bring him in and talk to him. Kevin interviewed him and hired him as our insider. And Chris Haynes has never looked back. But he got his start right here. And we're proud of him. All of us are proud of him that we were there to see the beginning of this wonderful career.
Absolutely.
A great family he has, too. All the girls, 4 girls, and a wonderful wife, Charlotte, and happy for their success.
I miss the old Haynes and Jane's commercials you guys had on TV.
Oh, man, we had some good stuff. Even he talks about that. He's like, I got to get somewhere where we can do Haynes and Jane's again. I said, I'm in it if I get paid for it.
There's always a rub there. You got to get paid. That's the Woj news. And, man, we got plenty more. We're going to talk plenty more WNBA, too. We didn't even jump in on what some potential names could be. What do you want this to be? Definitely not the Fire. Start anew. You got some ideas, some takes on the WNBA? Pick up the phone. 503-248-0620 is that telephone number. Come talk to us. Chris Burkhardt here with the Godfather, Dwight Jaynes, on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio, 620. Welcome back into the Rip City Drive. Chris Burkhardt here with the Godfather, Dwight Janes. Plenty of sports news to get to today. WNBA did announce that they're coming to Portland. Woj is retiring. And apparently, Dwight, Grants Pass is in the news for all the wrong reasons.
All the wrong reasons, right.
All the wrong reasons. I don't know if anyone else has seen this, but apparently Paige Beckers, star basketball player at UConn, who is going to definitely thrive in the WNBA at some point, perhaps in Portland. This was news about a day and a half ago, but now it is an Oregon man is being held on a $100,000 bond after appearing in Connecticut Superior Court in Rockville on Monday to face charges that he stalked and harassed UConn women's basketball standout Paige Beckers. Wow.
I think there's not much to do in Grants Pass.
That's
You're on the computer all the time harassing people, I guess.
drinking Dutch Bros.
That's true.
They do have an In-N-Out too. Don't disparage the Grants Pass, okay?
That's where the Oregon Caves are, too. Yeah. There's lots to do down there.
he says sarcastically. Yeah. But, yeah, what a way to get in the news there, man. It's also that's the unfortunate part of the game growing, man. The game grows, and then you get the crazies, and then you get the stalkers, and that's just too much.
It's we laugh a little bit about the town, but the incident itself is not worth joking about. It's serious business now when you're harassing people online or in person or any other place, and you got to take it seriously. And he actually talked about some things he was going to do. There were threats. He went back. I think he was actually caught back there, not far from the campus of the school.
Yeah, he was arrested by UConn police, according to this article from ESPN. So, man, what a story that is. What a story that is.
No kidding.
Got to be safe out there. You got to keep your head on a swivel. Got to keep your head on a swivel. And God, what was the name? Jodie Foster had the crazy stalker too back in the day.
Yeah.
So, I don't like that story, and I don't like it being a Grants Pass man. Like, come on now, Oregon, be better.
Yeah.
Better than that. That's ridiculous. Hey, we opened up the phone lines earlier. Dwight asked people to come on in and chime in. Tell us what you think about the WNBA. If you got a good team name idea, do it. 503-248-0620. And we do have a caller online waiting here. George in Portland has a name for the WNBA team. George, you're on the Rift City Drive. What you got?
Yeah, I got a name. How the heaven drops. The halo can be a raindrop. The logo can be a raindrop with a halo around it.
The heaven drops, Dwight, is what he said. The logo could be like a halo with the raindrop. You know, it's almost like a rim. It's a fun little name.
That's something I would have never thought of.
No, I like it. It's different.
It is different.
Portland has had some different names over the years, though.
Well, a lot of people seem to want the Fire to come back.
No, Fire is boring.
I just think it's kind of bad taste given all the problems we've had with wildfires in the last few years.
It's a different landscape than 1999, right?
Yeah, sure is. But
if you were Fire, then you'd have to have Smokey the Bear come out, be the mascot for you, just in case.
Yeah, up to you to prevent forest fires.
Yeah, Blaze the Trail Cat, and it takes on a whole new name in that basketball stadium.
Well, that's another thing too. When you're coming up with a nickname, you have to have it be mascot friendly. I think that the mascots are a big deal nowadays.
Yeah.
And it's easier to get them to make appearances than it is your players.
Hey, to be
know that.
Yeah, that's for sure. To be fair to the family that just bought the team, their other franchise, the Portland Thorns, has an objectively perfect Portland sports team name. Like Portland Thorns, awesome. Also, their kits, that's uniforms for all you non-soccer heads.
Yeah,
always look good.
Yeah,
they always look good.
Their uniforms, they're not.
Couldn't go with like the roses, the rosebuds.
I think rosebuds goes really well with thorns.
Yeah, rosebuds, thorns. There could be a lot of cross pollination if we're keeping it in the flower realm there.
I like that.
Yeah, that's not a terrible one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something else that's a little off the beaten track.
I don't know what else. Portland Steel. Because that made so much sense.
Yeah.
The Portland Thunder, because we're really known for our thunderstorms around
I
here.
know.
We're also really known for our arena football. So, Portland Pride, that was what, the indoor soccer team, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And that Pride works because it's also the name. That's what it isn't that a group of lions?
Mm-hmm.
It's a pride of lions,
Mhm.
right? So you have something ferocious that
Right.
you could use as a mascot.
That was the logo. It was like the tiger. I remember with like little crown on it for that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, that might work.
team names. This is totally going to be like old days. Like you hear all the stories. Like it came down to a fan vote and 4 options. It's in the Oregonian. Go to Oregon
Yeah.
Live and vote.
As somebody who worked for teams a little bit in the past, I can tell you that a lot of times the fan vote, the team already knows what it wants, and they're just waiting for you to name it for them. They're going to draw out the one that they wanted in the first place, that's fine too. I mean, it's their team. They can do what they want.
Yes.
But you just have to try to figure out what they may want and then submit that, and you might be a winner.
Mm-hmm. Not the big.
That's just a little inside tip on winning those contests.
Can't be the big feet. I just you don't want to put you don't want to put that on the ladies.
No, you don't want to put it on the men either.
Yeah,
the
but
big
it makes.
feet.
I mean, come on, they're wearing. They got big shoes. You know, it's gosh, I don't know. This is.
I know where you were going with that. I mean, it does.
Obviously, you know the Bigfoot and was it Flash of Brilliance, right? That we had the guy on.
Yeah, we did.
It's available free on YouTube now, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's worth watching.
It is worth watching. Very well done.
Yeah, so. I'm just sitting here. We have I'm asking for names, and the phone lines are lighting up. We're going to get to you on the next segment. I don't want to get to the phones right now because the segment's almost over, so I don't want to cut you guys short.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're waiting on the line, stay there. I'll pick you up when we come back from the break. Like I said, I want to give you guys ample time to talk. I don't want to give you 5 seconds and shut you down. But I asked for names, and I'm glad people are talking because I'm thinking with you, Dwight. I'm like, it's kind of hard to think of a team name.
It is.
Like,
yeah. Well, there's so many already used. You can't have the same nickname as somebody else.
You can't. We're going to find a good one. I really hope we find a good one. You got team names? Call us, 503-248-0620 for the new WNBA franchise here in Portland. Plenty more sports talks coming up. 2 hours left of the drive right here on Rip City Radio 620. Hey there, Rip City. It is 4 o'clock here in the afternoon. Plenty of sports news to get to. The biggest news of the day, though, is that yesterday the WNBA tweeted, what's better than 14 teams? Of course, the answer would be 15. And today at a press conference at Moda Center, it was announced that Portland has been awarded the WNBA's 15th franchise. The team is still yet to be named, but people who remember the Portland Fire are fired up, pun intended, as the WNBA is making its long-awaited return to the Pacific Northwest. In reporter news, usually Woj is breaking news about athletes in the NBA, but today he broke news about himself, the longtime ESPN reporter, announcing he is retiring from sports journalism, taking on the GM job at his alma mater, the Bonnies. Have fun, Woj. Your bombs will be missed. Hour number 2 of The Drive with Chris Burkhart and Dwight Janes starts now. All right, I hope we're all good now. We had the caller earlier, and Dwight gave me the I can't hear, and I'm like, hey, Shacker, he can't hear his phone. And then Shacker's like, were you doing production in there? I'm like, yeah. He's like, then it's probably your fault. And it was. I pushed the wrong button, forgot to push it back.
That's okay.
Hey, but like a true pro, I repeated what he said to you, and no one knew until I just outed myself. I said too much.
I appreciate accountability. It's one of the most important things that we have going in this country. Accountability.
Yes.
You got to be accountable for what you do.
You absolutely have to, man. And the phone lines, though, I opened them up. They lit up. We got plenty of callers, so we're going to get to them in just a second. If you want to chime in, the question I asked for everybody is, what do you think the new WNBA team name should be? Funny enough, my daughter's chimed in. My wife texts me. She says Brooklyn. My middle child says that the team should be called Brooklyn's team. No ego on that child.
Yeah.
And my oldest daughter says that they should be called the Portland, Oregon Ducklings.
Of course.
And I just think kids are adorable. like
especially when they're yours.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Especially when they are mine. That is for sure. But if you got a team name that you want to suggest, jump on in. 503-248-0620 is that telephone number. You can also tweet at myself at Chris J. Burkhart or at Dwight Janes. And you can hit us up on YouTube if you want. But let's head out to the phone lines where people have been patiently waiting. Let's head out to Vancouver, where Eddie has been waiting, and he has a name he wants to drop on us. Eddie, the floor is yours.
Hello?
Eddie. Yep, the floor is yours, bud. What do you got?
All right. Just want to say I was born and raised in Northeast Portland. I'm 52 years old. And, other cities like Seattle, you go there because the Space Needle's there. California, Disneyland, and Yellowstone. Here we have nothing, but how about the Portland Weirdos? Keep Portland weird. So we got the Weirdos, our Voodoo Donuts.
Portland Voodoos. Okay. I get what you're laying down. If you went with the Voodoos, you can get a nice little you could have a pink uniform, you could have a maple brown uniform, you could do all sorts of things. Now Weirdos is that does sound like a video game name. Like that's the team you name, you give your video game team, but
I don't think the players would much like being called Weirdos.
Even though, like I'm a Red Sox fan. You remember 2004 and Kevin Millar billed them as the bunch of idiots.
Yeah.
and then that stuck on, but they didn't change their name. They didn't become known as the Red Sox or the Boston Idiots. Of course, my wife would have preferred that, being a Yankee fan. But the Portland Weirdos, though, you got to give Eddie credit, though, because that is very on brand for Portland as it is. Keep Portland weird became a thing, or you got to lean into like Portlandia. Is it still is it too long ago to keep put a bird on it, right?
Put a bird on it, yeah.
Call them the birds or some sort of flying creature.
Yeah, it's where young people come to retire.
there you go. Yeah, the dream of the 90s is alive in Portland. All right, and we'll keep it in Portland. Head out to Kyle, who's been waiting patiently. Kyle, you have a name for us, too. What do you suggest?
Yeah, I haven't heard anybody say this one ever before, and it's super marketable, I could imagine it being. The most fearsome animal in all the land, everybody can agree, is a mother bear. So I think the mother bears would be pretty rad, and it's female positive. I think that's a good one.
All right, Kyle. I get what he's laying down. The
Portland Mother Bears.
Portland Mother Bears. Hey, I mean, it's got a ring to it.
Yeah.
I think you don't have to necessarily, just because it's a female basketball team doesn't mean you have to go female-centric with the mascot totally. So you could just be the Bruins or the Grizzlies or something.
Well, let me say, when he started talking about the most fearsome animal, you know what I thought he was going to say? The Portland Honey Badgers.
The Honey Badgers,
That wouldn't be a bad name, would it?
that flows.
Honey Badgers.
The Portland Honey Badgers flows.
And your dance team could be the Honeys.
There you go. You go with the Wolverines since, they're being seen again here in the state, being spotted.
Yeah.
I still contend that I saw one last summer. I didn't know it. And then all of a sudden there was reports.
Really?
Yeah, my wife and I were driving off Highway 48, getting back to Highway 26 over the mountain, and something darted out in front of our car. I was like, "Did you see that?" She's like, "I did. What was that?" It was small. It was black, and it just darted like that. I thought it looked like a Wolverine at the time. I'm like, they're not in Oregon. That's weird. I've never seen anything like that. And then it was like 2 weeks later that the news broke that someone had spotted a Wolverine in Oregon. I'm like, I wonder. And then there was a bunch more reports after that. So kind of crazy. So I think I saw one.
Well, I'm going to stick for now with Honey Badgers. That's going to be my name.
Honey Badgers.
I'm going to keep pushing that one.
You do know that the people are going to lean into the honeys for short, though, and then that's going to blow
Well,
up.
that's okay to have like a short, version of it.
Honey Badger's not used enough in sports. That's an objectively good.
I know it is, isn't it? Like a mean and nasty animal.
Oh yeah, I like and and if you don't, they are nasty.
Yeah,
they are nasty. All right, let's head out to Sherwood. Jackie always has something good to say. I'm sure she has a good name for us. Jackie, what do you got?
Hey, Godfather.
Howdy, Jackie.
Hi, Burke.
Hello.
I know we mentioned the raindrops, but how about just the Portland rain?
See, Dwight, there's two things here. There's a reason that I like it, Jackie. There's also a reason I don't like it. The reason I don't like it is because with the rivalries between I-5, you had the Seattle Reign, the women's soccer team up there. But Reign is also a good name when you spell it rain, like Reign Supreme, not rain like a raindrop.
R-E-I-G-N.
And you do the play on words there. That's in the clubhouse. It's worth a vote, Jackie. That's a good one.
No, I like it too. Is that the way you planned on spelling it, Jackie? R-E-I-G-N, like the reign of a queen?
Yeah, I was thinking that.
See,
good thought. Works. That's a good one. We'll put that one up on the wall.
Good.
Yeah,
I like it.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
See, that's a good one. That's a good one. Like I said, the rivalry in me, but it's good. That's creative. Plays on things that Portland's known for. It's a little, creative with the spelling, the play on words. See, Jackie's mind is in the right place. We're gonna give her. She's definitely on the list there. Mm-hmm. All right, let's set out to Reverend Charles has a name for us too. Rev, the floor is yours.
First off, I've always wanted to say this. Will you be my friend, Godfather?
Well, sure.
I had to do that. I've always loved that scene from The Godfather. Yeah. Secondly, Portland Fire never worked because it's not the Blazers as in fire. It was always Trailblazers as in the frontier theme of those hardy souls back in our Western lore and past that blazed trails to get out here to the West Coast. So don't you agree it should be something with a frontier theme?
Yeah, maybe, except this group is not the group that owns the Trailblazers, so they have no obligation really to make it anything like Trailblazers. They can do what they want, I think.
When you hear this name, though, Godfather,
okay, you got something.
I think you will agree with me that the perfect name for the new WNBA franchise in Portland should be the Portland Bushwhackers.
The Bushwhackers.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. Bushwhackers. You're thinking of wrestling.
Yes. Portland Pioneers, maybe.
But then you got Lewis and Clark's the Pioneers already.
Yeah.
So you don't want to take their name.
Call them the Portland Lewis and Clark Pioneer Ets. That'd be something like my daughter would say.
Yeah.
But you could lean into some sort of prospector type.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking Rain. That was a good one. Jackie gets points for that. All right, let's head out to North Portland. Mike has a name for us too. Mike, your name in the new NBA team. What's your suggestion?
Well, I do have a couple, but the first was so wrong with the Portland Fire. I mean, I remember when that team was here. I went to a couple games. I thought it was a pretty cool. They had the Dalmatian for the mascot. Fire truck theme. I didn't think it was bad. Anyways, three of them. You kind of just touched on one. I really do like the flow and sound of the Portland Pioneers.
Yeah.
Just as a professional name in general, there's no gender attachment to it at all, and you can have a pioneer in anything. So.
Right.
Oh, still there, Mike? Sorry, Mike. I had to throw you on hold. Your cell signal went out on us, but yeah, Pioneers I like that. Also, I mean, the WNBA, what it's doing, they're trying to pioneer in women's sports, so it makes sense.
Yeah, no, there's, like I say, the only objection I would have is that it's related to Lewis and Clark College here in town, but maybe that doesn't matter to them. I know that was a factor when the Blazers were originally looking for a nickname. They didn't want anything that could be confused with a local college or even high school.
I didn't even think about that. I'm trying not to, but I don't know. And Fire, it's not that Fire was bad.
Right.
I just think that after 2 decades and all the push, you could make something that was just marketable as all can be, that's going to stick, that has a little more of a punch for this city. Like I said, even if it was, like the Portland Rosebuds, I mean, even the Roses. If you have the Thorns and the Roses, and those were the two, I mean, that works. And that just, you're playing in a building used to be called the Rose Garden. This is what the city's known for.
Well, it's still the Rose Quarter.
It's still the Rose Quarters, the Portland Roses.
That's not bad at all, Chris. I think that should be considered.
Yes.
And especially by that ownership group who has the Thorns already. Why not have the Roses and the Thorns?
Dude, there's so much extra marketability in there if you name those two together. Yeah. I can just envision the Rose and center court and things like that. I like that one.
This starting lineup could be your bouquet.
There you go. See this guy. He markets himself. Look at that.
Yeah.
All right, Aaron in Portland. Aaron, you're on. What's your name for us?
Hey man, I got a great name. Everybody's I don't know if it's the best for a WNBA team, but everybody wants to name something after an animal. Let's just call them the Animals. The Animals. Think of the chant inside the building. Animals, animals. And you just pick an animal. It can be a Sasquatch. It can be anything, man.
Yeah.
Fish, whatever. Everybody shows up in their favorite animal. You have pet night. You have everything.
Well,
nobody's the animals anywhere. Where they have to? There's so many animals, but nobody's called the Animals.
Yeah, except a musical group that recorded some really good songs. House of the Rising Sun, the Animals. Yeah. You could also, on opening night, give everybody a free box of animal crackers.
You have to have Toga Nights because it is the Animal House.
Yes, Animal House.
See?
Well, you could just change the Moda Center on those nights, Animal House.
Toga. Come on. Oh, Animal House being in Eugene. Come on. Animals. Aaron's smart. Everyone wants to name after an animal, but just animals that just sounds so much more vicious than bears and lions and tigers. Oh my!
And it's all inclusive. Everybody wants inclusion nowadays.
He didn't say male animals.
We're not going to leave any animals out of this.
No, that's Portland Animals.
Yeah,
I like that. Animals, rain, roses. We got some leaders in the clubhouse here.
Don't forget honey badgers.
Honey badgers that's just a good name, no matter what the franchise, sport, or league is. I like that one, Godfather. That is a good one. If you got plenty of more names you want to get to us, grab the phone, 503-248-0620, and we'll continue to talk about it. These names are great. I'm glad everyone called. So tune on in. Plenty of more talk coming up on the Rip City Drive.
The Rip City Drive is bringing the show to the Haven Spa Pool and Hearth in Clackamas Friday, September 27th from 3 to 6. Join Dwight and Chad as they broadcast live and collect new and gently used sports balls for the Boys and Girls Club of the Portland metro area. Get more details on the events page at ripcityradio.com.
On days like today, I am reminded of the impact of the WNBA and its importance to so many. More than anything, this is a celebration of women's sports and of the continued growth of our league. And the growth has been exponential in recent years. It seems to me that Portland has become an epicenter of women's sports. And the people of Portland have established this city as a premier destination. This momentum, combined with visionary leadership of the Bethal family, is what brings us all to this announcement today. So today, I am honored to officially announce that we have awarded Portland the 15th WNBA franchise.
There you go. That was WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert at Moda earlier today, making the official announcement that the 15th franchise in the WNBA will be based here in the city of Roses.
Yeah.
It's like, that's factual.
It's not exactly news.
That's factual. Yeah.
At this point.
Big shout out to Sean Hyken, who has been on this news for a while. He broke it about 2.5 weeks ago with the rumors. And I believe there was supposed to be, the press conference was actually supposed to be about a week ago, right? It's supposed to be on like September 10th, I think. And then they pushed it back to today. But now the announcement was made. And I know there was a lot of basketball fans who had kind of had their hearts torn out, who were really looking forward to it kind of last year. And then it kind of things fell through the cracks, and Golden State was announced. So was Toronto. People thought that, oh no, this is not going to happen. And then you get the news today. So it's good. It's good for fans of basketball, fans of the WNBA.
Well, and we're the epicenter now.
We are the epicenter of women's sports in this entire world.
Whatever that means.
Whatever that means. Hey, man, I do, all joking aside, I mean, Portland itself has done wonders for women's sports. I really do believe that, with the way that the Thorns have drawn attendance numbers over there for years now, and they really buoyed the NWSL for a long time, and still do at times. I mean, the NWSL had a lot of teams who were playing at community parks, right? I mean, with that fit 1,000 people at the exact same time that the Thorns were drawing 20,000 on a given night. And then you got to see teams like Orlando come into the league and and play in the big soccer stadiums too, and draw great fans. And then you get the names out there like Alex Morgan, who just recently retired and becoming a face of the league. And it's just, Portland is kind of led a lot of that. And I hope that they can do the same here with the WNBA, Dwight.
Oh, yeah. Look, I'm all for more pro sports teams in Portland. I always have been. And I think it's great they're coming here. I wish them all the luck in the world. And I think it's great. I wish I would have been here when my daughter was playing basketball as a little girl. And it would have been wonderful to be able to take her to a game and see them play.
Yeah. And you know what? Now, Portland, kudos to you. You've done a great job. You've serviced the WNBA fan. Okay. Some people don't enjoy the WNBA. That's fine. But the people who do are very excited today, and I'm excited for them. I do like the WNBA, so I'm excited too. But now you can cater to the other people. The hardcore baseball or hockey fan who has just been longing forever and ever and ever for this city to grab one. You and I will just beat the drum all day long. The hockey should have been here a while ago. The whole announcement with the Coyotes not coming to Portland, because what? That team's been connected to Portland for as long as they've been in existence.
Yeah, and Utah came in and stole them away.
Yeah, because Utah, come on now. I don't like that. You get the hockey team and the Winter Olympics again. Just rub it in our face. It's a joke.
No kidding.
It's a joke. Put the Winter Olympics here. Go snowboard down Mount Hood. Let's have some enjoyment.
Good enough area for the Olympic teams. I think the downhill, there were a lot of Olympic teams that practiced on Mount Hood.
Okay. There you go.
Over the years.
WNBA is the news. The phone lines are lighting up again. So if you guys want to get in and chat WNBA with us and talk about what you think the team should be named, you know what to do. Pick up your phone. 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. So far, Roses, because I picked that one. Honey Badgers, Rain, they're all leaders in the clubhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Animals was pretty good, though.
It's interesting.
I mean, Animals would be, you don't see that a lot.
It's a veritable menagerie around the Moda Center.
And then like at the... with like the Ducks always changing their uniforms up. That's like your brand. You could you could just like change your mascot every few weeks. Like, what animal are we today?
Yeah.
The Honey Badgers. Yeah. You are right, though. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be connected to the Blazers.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, you do have, like, the Washington Wizards and the Washington Mystics, right? In Minnesota, the Timberwolves and the Lynx, two animals living out there in the forest. But, you got the Lakers and the Sparks in L.A., no real connection there. Pacers Fever, no real connection there. So it doesn't have to be connected to the NBA franchise.
Yeah, I think Golden State is going to be what? Valkyrie?
The Valkyries, yeah. I mean, in Houston, you have the Rockets and the Comets, so that one makes sense. But it doesn't have to be. It could be. Maybe you could call them the Portland Bucket Busters.
I think it would be more likely to be associated with the Trailblazer name if the Trailblazers were indeed operating this team. But
right.
As we've seen, the Blazers are very welcoming to the new franchise, but not connected to the family that's going to operate the team and own it.
I did have a comment sent out to me on Twitter. I do not know how to pronounce the username, but it was, I think there will be some tears shed during the very first WNBA season. So how about the Portland Ballers? More play on words.
BAWL.
Ballers.
Yeah.
Portland Brawlers. I don't know.
I don't know. This is what happens when you throw the doors open to any possible names.
See, but does it have to be Portland, though? What if it was like
Oregon?
The Oregon? What if it was even like the Rose City Roses or the Oregon Honey Badgers? Bridge City Ballers.
I think Portland needs the name recognition.
Okay.
Of being involved. That's kind of what I think. It'd be good for the city of Portland to have, a little better image nationally. And by having a WNBA team, I think it could help in that regard.
I'm excited.
So I wouldn't call it the Portland Blue Tents or anything
Not
like
the
that.
Blue Tent. Come on, Dwight. Come on. Stick with Honey Badgers.
I just took a ride around the Moda Center recently, and that just came to mind.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You are something else, as Kevin Hart would say. All right, let's head back out to the phone lines. Before I do, though, if you want to join in, 503-248-0620 is that telephone number. Give us your thoughts on what you think about the WNBA coming back to Portland and what you think the team should be named. Let's head out to Portland, go to Jason, who's been waiting on the line patiently. Jason, floor is yours. What do you got for us?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good.
Good. Hey, just to note, Portland Rain is a club team here in town. Not that matters, but a club basketball team.
Oh.
I like the animals. That one was cool. Mine are kind of more modern, the Portland Creators or the Portland Influencers or the Portland Artisans, something Portland-y but new.
Okay.
Artisans and influencers.
I like that. It makes sense, Jason. I mean, especially if you're trying to cater to the youth crowd, right? Influencers, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. What I see in those names are long names, and I always go back to the early days when newspapers were a factor. You had to have a name that would shorten for a headline.
Mm-hmm.
That's why there were names like Mets, Yanks.
Okay.
And in Boston,
Sox.
they became the Bo Sox or the Sox. And Chi Sox for the White Sox. You had to be able to get them shortened. Seattle became the M's rather than the Mariners so that they would fit in a headline. And I go back to that. It is nice to have something that shortens up a little bit. Just if you're yelling like, come on, let's go, influencers, that's like.
Here we go, fluencers.
Yeah.
Here with the flus.
It helps.
The flus.
Careful now. But it helps to have something a little shorter than that, I think.
That's fair. That's fair. Also, granted you did downsize, but Trailblazers is a pretty long name.
Yeah.
I mean.
But it became Blazers real quickly with a lot of people.
Yeah, that's fair. Creators does make sense because then you get the play on the social media creation and influence. But, shot creation is a thing in the NBA. People are, judged on how good of a air quote creator they are. So, that makes sense. That one makes sense, Jason. I like what you're laying down. I like the modern take. All right, Brent in Portland, you've been waiting a while here too. What do you got for us?
Well, I think the Rapids. The Rapids will shorten to the Raps. The Rapids are exhilarating. They're beautiful to look at. People go down them in kayaks and rafts, and all over Oregon. The outdoor Oregon stigma goes right along with the Rapids and the locale.
You know, I think that's good for one particular reason, too. I don't think anybody else in any sport has that as a nickname. I think there is something to be unique, to being unique, being the only one. I like it. Yeah, Rapids.
Great. Hey, Dwight, I got a quick one for you, okay?
All right, yeah.
Bill Schonley, if he was around today, he'd have one piece of advice for the Blazers to play capture the flag, and that would be you've got to miss your free throws.
I'm with you. I understand. You got to miss. You got to miss a lot of them too. And capture the flag is going to be a big deal. You just wait. We're going to hear that a lot.
Oh yeah.
All right, Brent. Thanks for the call.
Good call.
I like that's a good one.
It is.
It plays on the outdoorsiness of the Pacific Northwest. Not a team name you really see.
Well, and you'd want a running team that's rapid. We're rapid. We run up and down.
Rapid makes sense. Like you said, the pace of play.
And rapids are treacherous. You got to be careful when you're in the rapids.
Roaring rapids, right?
Yeah.
See,
that's not bad. I hope they're listening.
I hope they are.
Yeah.
I mean, they might be since, the outrageous audio guy got a commercial.
Yeah, that's true.
So Rapids is now on the list of leaders in the clubhouse, Brent.
Yes.
That's well played. Makes me think of like Eugene. You had the Roaring Rapids Pizza, the pizza joint right on the water, right on the rapids, the Willamette. So Rapids makes sense.
Portland Rapids. It's got a ring to it.
It does. This one, see? That's a good one. I like that one. All right, let's head out to Chad's favorite town, Gresham, where John has been waiting patiently. John, what names you got for us?
I've got two. I know Dwight didn't want to branch it out to Oregon, but thought that gave a few more options. I thought of the Oregon Tsunami.
Yeah.
And also playing off the fire, the Oregon Wildfire.
Yeah, the wildfire would bother me a little bit because it has meant a lot of heartache to people in this state, a lot of, damage done to property and things like that. That's why I didn't like the fire, to tell you the truth. It's become kind of a tragic theme in this state recently. I did
summer.
like the tsunami, I think, is a very threatening name, I guess, because tsunamis are a big threat in Oregon even.
They are. I mean, but by your same logic, you can't go tsunami if you don't want to go fire. I mean.
Yeah, but we just haven't been damaged so far.
It hasn't impacted us.
We haven't had it yet.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, what else you got though? Rapids was good. Like I said, this is a tough game because I can't think of any names.
Oh, I'm getting a lot of them on my social media. Scotty Bethune has contributed several, but Scotty, I'm sorry. I'm not so sure I'm going to read too many of these. There's, I don't think needles is an appropriate
No,
name.
we get it. We get it. You don't like Portland.
Yeah, and that's the kindest one of the ones he's submitted so far.
Oh man, yeah. No, I don't know about that one. I want creation. I want things that can really happen. Can't do something. You can't do like Connecticut. They already have the name, but you can't do the sun, right? You never see that here. That's why. That's why rain makes sense.
Yeah, clouds. Portland storm clouds.
You can't do storm. See, you can't do storm.
Thunderheads. Portland Thunderheads.
See, you can't do anything associated with the storm or the weather because you already have the Seattle storm. So there's going to be the natural rivalry there. You gotta branch a little bit. See, the roses make sense again because if you got A, the thorn colors, but B, if you do attach yourself to the blazer a little bit, there's probably going to be red in your color scheme. So roses make sense.
Yeah, JCR on social media on X just kind of corrected me. Colorado Rapids.
That's right, Colorado.
So
Rapids.
they wouldn't be the only Rapids, but Colorado.
But it's like the Ducks, right? Like there's so few. You get the Anaheim, Oregon, and there's like 2 high schools in the country that go by Ducks.
Mm-hmm.
So Rapids is it's not a.
It's pretty rare.
Yeah, I wanted to say Colorado. I'm glad he corrected you because I knew there was at least one, and I wanted to say Colorado, but
I don't even know what is that. Is that their soccer team?
Soccer team.
Yeah,
soccer team. They also have the Colorado Mammoth or whatever, like their lacrosse team or whatever it is. See, but you're right. The Colorado Avalanche, real long name, but they're the Avs.
Yeah, they use Avs all the time now.
Yeah. But again, like Jonathan tweeted at me too. But Colorado Rapids. But again, Portland Rapids just makes sense. Just makes sense. I would say, like, back on your like Wildfires, you could do Wild. You do have the Minnesota Wild hockey team.
Right.
But Wild makes sense.
Yeah. I think we're not being imaginative. There's probably something out there that
Some name
ever
we haven't even thought of.
Yeah.
It's a good game though.
Yeah, it is.
Do you remember? I'll search right here. But what were some of the leaders in the clubhouse? The names that the Trailblazers were almost named.
I can't recall. I really can't. I don't remember. That's a long way back. You can probably find it online somewhere, but some with nature or the wild. I mean, we can't do ducks or beavers, but there must be, got to be something else out there.
Yeah.
What do you see?
I'm looking at Pioneers was one at that time too, but the Lewis and Clark was around, and that was also something they didn't want to do. So more than 1,000 entries were submitted. I'm trying to see other names. I don't see them. That's way before my time, so I apologize to our listener for not knowing. If you know, give us a call. But Trailblazers ended up winning. Maybe it just goes back to fire. Could work. You got the history.
Yeah.
But it was a short-lived history. That's why I'm not too, like at least with, like, this whole idea, like, that if the Sonics or Seattle comes back, the Thunder will give them back the Sonics history.
Right.
Like, that makes sense. There was a long, storied history there.
Exactly. And they won a championship. You want that championship.
And this was pretty much already laid out, too, when the move happened. We kind of knew that if they came back, they were going to get that history. But, like, the Fire were here for what? 2-3 seasons? Like, it was a real short time that they were here. There was no history outside of Jackie Stiles, who they should find a way to get her involved. But, there's not Fire you can move on from. The Dalmatian mascot, though, give credit for that. That was good.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can even do a Dalmatian in a costume, make a big furry spotted dog costume. Yeah, I mean, I really do believe you need that furry mascot that kids can run up to and hug and get a picture. And everybody has it now in sports. Everybody has a mascot. You got to have it.
I wonder if they have names on the table that weren't used for the Rip City remix.
Oh, I'm sure. Because that one was out of left field. That was a shocker, really.
Man, too bad they already got it in baseball, because hops would make a lot of sense, because you got to have hops in basketball.
Yep.
See?
Hops is a good one.
Good job, Hillsborough. You took it.
Yeah. That was smart. Pretty easy to get a beer sponsor, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nickname is Hops.
It's a good mascot out there in Hillsborough.
Yeah.
The only bad part about it is, you don't get a lot of good hops in baseball. You only get bad hops.
That's for sure.
So hopefully the beer gets all the good hops then for them. All right, if you want to continue to join in on the conversation, I see people are still calling, which is absolutely awesome. We're talking WNBA expansion. 503-248-0620 is that telephone number. Sean Hyken might be joining us here at 5:20. I got to check to see how busy he is, because he was down there at the press conference and all that. So we're going to continue this conversation, man. WNBA carrying the show today.
I got one more nickname to give you, too, after the break.
That's right. I was going to say, don't give it to me now.
Just came.
Sit on it, my friend. Sit on it. Chris Burkhardt here with the Godfather, Dwight Jaynes, on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. You're funny. You say sometimes teams have the name they want, and it doesn't really matter what the fans want. Because as I'm looking here, it says that the Blazers had a contest to hold to decide the name, and the winner was Pioneers. But the proposal was rejected because the name was
Pioneers
already
didn't
because
win.
of Lewis and Clark.
Ah,
So they went with the next leader in the clubhouse, the Trailblazers.
interesting.
There you go.
Yeah, I promised a name. Marshall Brewer sent this in on social media. He said, no, you can't use Rapids because of the Colorado Rapids. Mark my words, he says. The Portland Roasters. Come on, we're a coffee town. Let's go.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I guess roast them, Roasters. But what are you going to use as a mascot? A big cup of coffee?
Yeah.
I don't know if
But
that
there's
works.
nothing against using Rapids just because another team has that
Well, I
name.
know. I agree. There's lots of teams with Tigers and Lions, and
Right.
you don't have to be the only one.
No.
I just suggested it'd be kind of cool to be the only one.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be.
What if you were like, you could be like the Portland Brew? Could be a cold brew. Could be a beer. Could be a lot of things.
How about the Portland Donuts?
The donuts.
We have a lot more donuts than we do coffee.
Yeah.
Seattle's a coffee town. Come on, we know that.
My wife says you probably can't name a girls team this, but she likes Trash Pandas. That's her favorite minor league baseball name, the Rocket City Trash Pandas.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, there's just something about it that just is kind of funny. And my children are cracking me up because my wife says I gave them a job and I didn't even know it. So they've thrown out the Monstars, the Tree Frogs, the Wolves, the Fire Wolves, the Sled Dogs, the Chihuahuas, the Cheetahs, the Pugs, the Saber-toothed Tigers, the Mice. My daughter's having way too much fun with this.
Yeah, good for the the daughters are very creative. That's some pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
I thought Tree Frogs is pretty cool. I don't know if the women would like being a tree frog, but I guess the men wouldn't either. But it's still a cool name. Lots of merchandising opportunities with that.
It is. The Oregonian has a list up too, and they have some of the ones we've said already, but they do have the Rip City Rosé or the Portland Pinot as a play on the wine industry here.
I don't like naming it after alcohol.
No, I don't like I said, if you were going to do Rip City Rosé, just go with the Portland Roses. Roses just is easier. Rose City, the Flights, Pioneers is up there. It's funny. At some point, you just got to, I know Lewis and Clark is there, but you don't rule the world, Lewis and Clark, okay? And obviously, I think Pioneers hits with people here in this city. If for some reason, every single time you got a team name in a contest, Pioneers pops up. Yeah. And it was a name that we said here. Like, I think it clicks with people.
Yeah, it does.
So you know what? You should just name when you're and like the Pioneers, you're pioneering women's sports, you're pioneering the girls' basketball game. Like there's more than just going out west and pioneering, the country. It's just, there's a lot in there. I think Pioneers makes a lot of sense.
I think maybe just epicenters would be good.
The epicenters?
The Portland epicenters.
Yeah.
So that's where the epicenter now of women's sports.
We are the epicenter. So there you go. Those are plenty of names. If you want to join in, give us your thoughts. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. We'll head back out to Chad's favorite city, Gresham, where John has been waiting patiently. John, what names do you have for us?
Hey, how about the Panthers or the Wildcats? I'll take this off the
air. Panthers has a ring to it.
Panthers does.
Yeah.
Wildcats is not terrible either because it's Blaze, the Trail Cat,
right?
Wildcats.
Yeah.
And you do have I mean, you don't want to go with Cougars, right? Like,
I don't think that would work.
But Wildcats makes sense.
Are you sure Cougars wouldn't work?
I mean, it might. You never know.
Yeah.
But no, Wildcats makes sense.
Yeah. I like Panthers better than Wildcats.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. There's a lot of Panthers out there in the sports world right now, though.
There
Wildcats, too.
Yeah. Arizona.
Boy, it's a stumper.
It is. It's fun, though. It's a fun game. Like, I can't wait till I get home. My daughter's probably going to have like 10,000 more names. For me.
I'm sure. You're going to be dealing with that for 2 days.
Dad, I got, you know how kids are too. It's like the first thing that comes to their mind. Dad, I got a new name, the Portland Shoes. Like, because they have to wear shoes when they play, so it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm still leaning to roses. I just love the combination of thorns and rose. And as some have pointed out, and the Oregonian did too, you could do thorns. There are a lot of franchises in Europe owned by the same entity, like FC Barcelona, the soccer teams and the basketball teams,
Yeah.
both go with the same name. But
Yeah, you could do that. I just think it gets confusing on social media when you always have to specify whether you're talking about the soccer team or the basketball team. It's Thorns win.
Which one?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's like those press releases the Ducks send out. It never says what sport it is. It's like Ducks edge so-and-so, and it doesn't give the score either. So you have no idea. You got to read it to find out. Are we talking about softball or soccer or lacrosse or what
Maybe
are we
that's
talking
just
about
the
here?
ploy to get you in.
Yeah, I know.
So
Yeah, I resent that. Don't want to read it.
Oh man. Just try. This is I didn't realize trying to think of a team name would be so time consuming and kind of fun, but also a stumper. Like,
Yeah. The pressure's on to be creative in something like this.
Yeah.
If you want to win a contest, you should probably come up with something that no one's ever come up with before. I don't think there's a honey badger anywhere in sports, is there?
not that I know of. I know you got the Wisconsin Badgers, but not the Honey Badgers.
Yeah.
Honey Badger came to the forefront when you had Tyron Matthau at LSU. 'Cause
Right.
that was his nickname, the Honey Badger.
Yeah.
Huh.
That was about the first time I'd ever heard of a honey badger, to tell you the truth.
Might have been, right?
Yeah.
Trying to even think like wrestling nicknames for a sec, because there's always good wrestling nicknames, but I can't think of anything that would stick. I'm just hoping it's not something terrible. I hope when we finally get the name.
Yeah, it's got to be something we can live with, huh?
Yeah. But just to pull a Washington football team, just the Portland Basketball Club.
Please.
I'm gonna keep thinking.
Whatever you think of, somebody's going to find fault with it. That's for sure.
No, you can never please everyone,
Yep.
man. You can never please anyone.
Yeah.
Funny part is there's a volleyball game up here, and it happens to be Kentucky, which is what? The Wildcats. As you said, there's a lot of Wildcats. So a lot of Tigers, a lot of Lions, a lot of Bears.
Yeah, I think maybe we ought to think about putting a bird on it, too. There's some birds we could probably come up with that might work.
Eagles.
Yeah. Eagles?
God,
We got eagles here.
Yeah, I saw one the other day going over the 205 bridge. Big old bald eagle flew across. It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
They are pretty cool when you see
They
them.
are.
The owls. The O could be a basketball. See?
Yeah, you said owls. It reminded me of another.
All right, we'll take a break here. When we come back, plenty of more sports talk on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. It is 5 o'clock somewhere, and that somewhere is right here in Rip City, and there is plenty of big news here that is Portland-centric. That is, yesterday, the WNBA tweeted, what's better than 14 teams? Well, the answer would be 15, and today at a press conference at Moda Center, it was announced that Portland has been awarded the 15th franchise in the WNBA. Still not a lot known yet. We don't know a team name. We don't know who's going to play for them, but we do know that they are coming, and a lot of people are excited. In journalist news, Adrian Wojnarowski sent out a Woj bomb this morning, but he wasn't talking about any NBA signings. He was announcing his retirement from journalism. He will no longer work at ESPN. He will be the general manager of his alma mater, St. Bonaventure, on their men's basketball team. Hour number 3 of The Drive starts now. Welcome back into the Rip City Drive. And Shaq, or YouTube listeners, some people watch on YouTube but listen like on the app while they're watching so that they can comment, but they can still hear all the music that's copyrighted that we're not allowed to put on YouTube. You did get a shout out on YouTube for some Death Clock that someone heard.
You have to be listening carefully to know that I had some Death Clock in the background.
So good on them. I like
Thank
that.
you.
That was what, Bricks and Joysticks, our buddy who owns a little novelty gaming shop over there in Albany. Go check it out. I still have to get down there sometime because I told him I would. So I got to do it. Before we get to some other non-WNBA news, Dwight, I do got to say, I'm giving my children a lot of props because they're going through this list. My wife said that they're both sitting on their laptops just writing a list on like just all the names they can think of.
Oh, we gave them homework today.
He gave them homework, and they're getting a passing grade, that's for sure, because my oldest daughter, Peyton, she says the Portland Rainbows. And you got to give her props because she listened to you and about your advice that you always look for a name that can be shortened for the headlines, because my daughter says it can be Bows for short.
Peyton, that's a great job. And I think if there is a contest, you should enter that name. I think Rainbows is good. It gives you a lot of colors to use in uniforms and posters and everything else. And I think it's nice for Portland because we do see rainbows around here once in a while, and when it stops raining. And I think it's a really cool name.
It is. It's a good name. It reminds me of one of my favorite teams, the old Hawaii Rainbow Warriors.
Yeah,
Rainbow makes sense because that's you're taking that long 3-pointer and you got to put a little arc on. It's a rainbow.
Yeah,
Portland, and then Portland Bows just kind of flows. I like it. Portland Rainbows. Good job, Peyton.
Yeah, she's getting it done.
You better keep that list up. I can't wait to get home.
You get an A on your homework.
See
today,
what else.
Peyton.
She gets a high 5. That's what she gets.
Yeah.
So other, though, non-WNBA news, and this one is a little interesting. I'm surprised it hasn't been talked about more. Might have flown under the radar just a little bit, but there was some news early this morning, Dwight, that Wake Forest and Oregon State have agreed to a home-and-home series. Wake Forest knocking Ole Miss out of their schedule, and the old Wake Forest, Oregon State, the Demon Deacons and the Beavers are going to meet up. They're going to Demon Deacons going to head to Corvallis next year in 2025, and the Beavers will make their return trip to Wake Forest in 2029. So as you continue to figure out what's going to happen in the realignment landscape in the future of the Big 12, I feel like this is no small potatoes. This is kind of a big news deal for Oregon State.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Chris. It's a respectable opponent for them to play, a long trip, but I think worth it when you play a brand name opponent. And, their big scheduling problem was going to be next season, I think, because they won't have those conference games yet. And so they're scrambling a little bit. And when you can scramble around and find a school willing to dump Mississippi to play you, first of all, it means they probably figure they have a better chance to win the game than they did against Ole Miss, which is probably true. But second of all, it's just probably a pretty good money game for Oregon State.
Yeah, it should be, and I also think it's big time for Oregon State too. Now, you and I talked about this with not wanting the Oregon game on there. There are a lot of Beaver fans that don't want to keep doing it. But what about, getting these big name teams in, getting a team like Wake Forest to agree to come to Corvallis first?
Yeah.
Right? We're gonna travel across the country first, come to Corvallis. You don't got to make the return trip till 2029. And with how schedules are working right now, you never know. By 2029, Oregon State might move themselves out of that and onto a different game, but they got a big marquee matchup in Reeser for next season. So this is a good move by Scott Barnes and company to get this game on the schedule.
Yeah, I'll tell you, things are happening with the Pac. I guess we'll continue to call it Pac-12. Things are happening, and there's a lot of news today about, I think people in Memphis are convinced that Memphis is the next one to come into the conference. I keep reading that all day. And then, if they come in, probably Tulane comes with them, I would think.
Yeah, and no, there were supposed to be meetings yesterday. Everything kind of quieted down after we were talking about it on the radio. But still seems to make the most sense. It gives them some viability, gives them ability to get on some TV screens they aren't normally on. I think Memphis and Tulane kind of getting out of their situation gives them a little bit of, some sort of stability moving forward. What I don't like about it, it's nothing that you and I can do about it or anyone at this point, is just that's why I've said I like Hawaii if you want them, or San Jose State. Like, the regionality is important, and losing that, I mean, it just feels so weird to have to travel to Tulane or Oregon to Rutgers or any of that for a conference game.
I'm afraid, though, that's going to be the new world order. I really do. When you see what the Big Ten did, they're coast to coast now. You know, and it's just, money is driving it, and money is going to steer it wherever it wants to steer it. And you're going to have to just be along for the ride, I'm afraid.
There is a captain of the ship. His name is money. So it's that's where it's going. And, we'll see what happens. But, again, I think the scheduling of Wake Forest, not a bad move for Oregon State as they start to put more and more puzzle pieces together. And so you're looking at the possibility of, 2025. So you're having Colorado State, Boise State, Fresno State. You're going to have Washington State. You're going to have San Diego State on your schedule. Mm-hmm. You're going to have Wake Forest. You're starting to put together a decent little schedule here now where, again, you don't have the flash and flare of being the Pac-12 that has Oregon and Cal and Stanford. You might by then have a couple of those teams back, but at least you got a schedule that you're not latching on to the Mountain West. Like, they're your lifeboat for the year, rowing you into shore. Yep. Like, okay, we're confident now. Things are kind of looking up.
It appears that way. Yeah. And I like the schools they're talking about. They're still talking about UNLV. I did see something today, Chris. I had originally heard that the legislature in Nevada did not want UNLV and Nevada to be in separate leagues. They just didn't want that. Well, somebody spoke out today from the legislature and said, no, that's not true. We've never said that. We never thought that. They can do what they want to do. So I still think chasing UNLV would be a really good idea. It's just a good city to be in. They're going to grow. It's going to get bigger down there. And look, you can have your bowl game there. You can have your meetings there, and everybody's going to be real excited to go.
Yeah, I think that one makes the most sense.
And they're good in basketball. And you bring Memphis in, who's always good. I still favor Gonzaga. What's wrong with you? Yeah, I know they don't have football. Fine. Take them in for basketball. They're going to give you that pot of gold from March Madness every year.
Oh, my gosh. It's dumb not to want that.
Yeah.
They don't have football. Who cares?
Yeah.
Find someone else who's an independent or wants to come in just for football to supplement that a little bit, but not wanting them when they're in your backyard is stupid.
Well, and the thing about football schedules is you don't need an even number of teams like you do in pro sports a lot of times, because you have a bye week. Okay, there's 9 teams. You play the other 8 teams in the conference. You get a bye, and you move on, play a couple of outside games, and you're good. I don't think you need exactly 12 teams. I don't think you need exactly 10 teams. Bring Gonzaga in.
Yeah.
They play baseball at least. Colorado State doesn't play baseball. Either does Boise State. So,
again, like we pointed out yesterday, though, it's they're giving away the plot here. It's all about football. It has nothing to do with anything else. It has everything to do with football. So the other two names there do make a little bit of sense then, because you've also heard the rumors of UTSA, University of Texas San Antonio, and then Texas State.
Right.
And Texas State played a really, really close game against Arizona State just a week ago. So they're an upstart football team. UTSA is new into this Division I thing. They've only been in here for a handful of years, but theirs gives you foot. Those two make sense if you're going with Tulane and Memphis to get that Texas footing a little bit, because you're going to need that.
Yeah,
they're
recruiting.
They're not the Dallas or Houston market, but they're still good markets. San Antonio's a good market, and the recruiting thing. 'Cause like I said to you before the show, like something like Tulane matters because as things start to get more hectic, it's going to be harder for someone like Trent Bray to get down to Louisiana, which is a good recruiting bed, Texas, which is a good recruiting hotbed. But if you have those games scheduled within your conference for right now, you know what? Team gets down there, you go down on a Friday, maybe you get a chance to get out to a high school game and see a recruit that you want to talk to or, have planned to talk to, and these things matter.
And, Chris, I've been thinking about this for a couple of days now, and it's like people talk about these schools. Well, they're not on the level of Big Ten teams or Big 12 teams. Well, of course they're not. But give them a few years playing up a level, and let's see what happens. They're going to get more TV money, a lot more attention. All of a sudden, each of those schools finds a booster willing to open the checkbook just a little bit wider, and they'll get better. Those schools will get better. It's like I look at Boise State and Fresno State. You bring them up a level in their league, pretty soon they're going to compete. They're going to be pretty good. I just feel that coming. I feel the same way at Tulane. I think Tulane's got a chance to be a real power because they're down in Louisiana. And, man, there's a lot of players down there. And if you just bring them up to a more high-profile league, they got a chance to be pretty good.
Yeah, that's probably more realistically why Boise State never got the invite to come up sooner. I mean, Boise State was playing everyone. They masked this whole idea about academics, right? They're not an academic institution. And the Pac-12, I always thought that was a complete farce. It was a lie. But Boise State was doing so good as it was and beating Power 5 teams. Do you think the Pac-12 at the time is going, you want to add that in? And all of a sudden they're going to start knocking everyone off because they're going to have our money, our revenue, our eyes, our recruiting, right? Look at Utah. Utah wasn't knocking the doors off like Boise State was. They were a good little team. They came in, all of a sudden they got the Pac-12 money, the Pac-12 revenue, the recruiting that goes with it. And Kyle Whittingham built one of the best programs in the country. Like just a consistent winner. It was Nick Saban at Alabama without the national championships.
Yeah, I just think there's a real opportunity there. And those schools are going to profit by moving up. And it'll take a while. It might be 5 years, might even be 10 years.
Yeah.
But they're going to get better just by moving up.
But at the same time, Dwight, regardless of if they get better or not, if you're the Pac-12, you cannot have the audacity to say that's not a Pac-12 team or they're not a this team, they're not a that team. Your beggars can't be choosers at that point. Take the team that wants to come in to keep your conference alive.
Yeah. I think the TV market matters a lot. The recruiting ground matters a lot. And I don't think Oregon State, for one, is in any position to turn their nose up to anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. When we come back, plenty more sports to talk about. We'll go back into that WNBA combo, though, if you want to talk names. I see Sean and Sandy has been on hold. Sean, stay there. I'll pick you up when we come back. And if you want to join in on what you think the WNBA's team name should be, 503-248-0620 is that telephone number. Chris Burkhardt here with the Godfather, Dwight Jaynes, on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. It's quite the opposite of Death Clock. Chris Burkhardt here with the Godfather Dwight James. I'm filling in for Chad Doing today. He will be back tomorrow. Unfortunately, Sean Hyken couldn't join us. That is completely fair. He is very, very busy. He was out at the press conference. And, of course, they're doing the block party outside at the Rose Quarter today, too.
Oh, yeah.
So lots of goings on. He's covering it all. I do believe he's going to try to join the show tomorrow, though. Sure. When he has a little bit of time. So I'll keep you posted there. I'll let Chad know. So I appreciate you, Mr. Hyken. I know that things get busy out there. I appreciate you trying to make the time. But, sometimes I understand. You and I have been out there before. Sometimes things get a little hectic, man. Can't just drop everything. But
they always get hectic.
They always get hectic. I always used to, when I was working with my dad at the meat market, man, I used to get stressed, right? If there's a line of people out the door and, you're out of something, so you need to get the case filled, and there's just so much going on, I'd start to get angry and stressed. Like I could feel my heart rate going. And then I started working with you at NBC, and once I started to have to do live shots, I was like, no, there is nothing more stressful than you trying to find internet connection in an NBA arena you've never been in, and your producer texting you going 5 minutes to air, and you're not even set up yet. That was when I learned what stress on the job was.
Yeah, we had some close calls.
We did. We absolutely did. I'd send my producer selfies of me just drenched in sweat. It's that's when I knew what stress was. So if you want to join in with us, 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. You can talk about anything you want. You can talk about Oregon State adding Wake Forest to a home in 2025 and 2029. You can talk about Woj retiring. You can talk about the Ducks and their big opponent this week, the bye week. Or, of course, you can chime in and talk about the WNBA getting an expansive franchise here in Portland and what they want to name it. What do you want to name it? Give us your thoughts. My daughters came up with another one, the Portland Pufferfish. They're having fun, man.
Yeah.
My wife said they're up to a list of 40. You know what? So look at this. Look who's calling Facebook. Chad Doing's calling. I called him during the commercial break. Don't you think he'd have the wherewithal to understand that at 5:23 we're probably back on air? He's done this enough.
What in the world is that about?
I called you during the commercial break, bud. Don't you know? But I love it. That's funny.
He's got time zone problems.
That probably is. He's over there in Colorado. Yeah. The show's over. No, it's not. No, it's
not. Just text him back. We're on the air. Dum dum.
On the air, dum dum. I'm going to text him that exactly right now. You're getting live on-air text on the my wife is also reminding me the close calls of almost getting arrested in L.A. when they pulled the plug on us one time. I was doing a live hit with Ian Carmel and had someone pull our internet and power 30 seconds to air. I was not happy about that. So I'm going to text him right now on the air, dum-dum. He's probably going to be like, what the heck? I love Dwight's been working with him for a long time because calling someone a dum-dum is 100% what Chad would do.
That's his go-to, yes.
But anyway, back on track. If you want to chime in with any names you think the WNBA team here in Portland should have, 503-248-0620 is that telephone number. Now, let's head out to Sandy. We're a friend of the show and not a constant caller, but an often caller. Sean has been waiting very, very patiently. Thank you, Sean. What do you have for us?
Hey, thanks for taking my call, you guys.
Sure. Of course.
We got to put at least an hour's thought into this because I see some of these other names around the WNBA, and there's teams like the Connecticut Sun, the Portland, or the Seattle Storm. I mean, we could just blend in and be like the Portland Rain or the Portland River. I mean, some of these names aren't even plural names. They're like the Atlanta Dream. They're not dreamers, but they're like the Dream Team or something. So I mean, we got to think about this. What can we even go back to Portland Fire?
I think we could. We could.
Yeah, there's talk of that. I don't know. Fire just doesn't. I don't know if it works anymore with all the wildfire things we've been having problems with lately, and I'm not sure the new owners wouldn't want to go a different direction and start kind of a new franchise. But I'm sure it's on the table.
I like Portland Panthers. I like any athletic animals. You can go Portland Cougars, but Portland Panthers has a little ring to it. and you could have the lady cats out there. And I just I want someone to put a little bit of thought into this, because the WNBA has been needing a little bit of help, and you want sure every move you make is off on the right foot. You know what I mean, you guys?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
And I just wanted to chime in on that. And I'm on the drive home, so I got to concentrate on driving. So.
Oh, good idea.
Have a great day, you guys.
Thanks.
Yeah, drive home safe, Sean. Thanks for the call, as always. Like I said, a frequent caller. There you go. I said constant caller earlier. He doesn't call constantly. He calls frequently. He's like he's a number one listener. He always has something to say, and I appreciate it when the phone lines are open when they call. But he is right. You look at you got the Storm, the Dream, Liberty, Fever, and then you do have a couple plurals: the Wings, the Aces, Sparks.
Yeah.
But it's about a 50-50.
I don't think Sparks is particularly good.
No, it's boring.
I mean, it doesn't have any real meaning, does it? I mean,
it would make more sense to be like the Los Angeles Stars or something, like
Stars
the Walk
good.
of Fame,
Yeah, Stars. It used to be the Hollywood baseball team was the Hollywood Stars. That was always a good idea.
I love the on-air text. My wife says that thanks to you and me saying it on air, my 2-year-old's running around the house going, dumb, 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 dumb.
Well, I can't be responsible for that.
I think you can. You are the godfather and, the Uncle Dwight, whatever you want to have the name around the house. But I love my wife. It's like the girls are up to like 40 plus names at this point. But Sean did throw out there. He gloss over call them the rain or the river. I mean, the Portland River.
Yeah.
The River Rats.
I don't know.
No.
No, I don't think so.
You could do Fire again, but my only thing against Fire, like I said, is you've had 2 decades now without a WNBA team, and you know what? Like, start anew, strike the Fire. They're a memory, but there's not a history there with it, right? So you're not completely connected to it.
Yeah,
it's kind of like when Seattle lost the Seattle Pilots to Milwaukee, right? Then a few years later, you get a franchise back, and you know what? We're not connected to that name. They're over there anyway. Let's find something new, and that's been your identity now for 40 years plus. Makes sense. Create something new.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the right thing, really. Yeah, we just got to come up with the best nickname, though.
We do, because I want to win this thing. I don't even know if there's a contest, but I want to win it.
Well, if there's a contest, the prize would probably be season tickets. That's usually what the team does. You'd love to have that. Take the girls.
I would. I'd love to take them. And of course, I don't know that my sports days might be done because the girls have pivoted from playing softball and soccer to cheerleading, and I'm in full cheer dad mode now. Everybody do the Mustang Rumble. I know all the moves. I'm down on this, baby.
I bet.
Yeah. My daughters are adorable though. They get the little hips in there, little head shimmies. They are cheerleaders through and through right now, which is fun. You get to take them to a duck game. They see the cheer squad, and now I gotta get my daughter to see a stunt team. Watch them throw the cheerleader up in the air.
Oh my!
Watch her mind go, what? You can do that. But we did hear earlier from WNBA commissioner. We got some more audio here. Here is hopefully my computer's turned on. Ron Wyden talking about the new WNBA team here today at the presser.
Doesn't come out. So, folks, what a day. Rip City is now a WNBA city. What a pleasure it is to have Kathy Engelbert back to Portland. Center court, folks, for women's sports in America. And I'm not a gambler, but I know it's a sure bet that Portland is going to be a slam dunk success in the WNBA.
Well, there's not a lot of slam dunks in the WNBA, Mr. Ryan White.
That's
so.
for sure. Yeah, maybe 1 or 2 a year.
But hey, you can hear the enthusiasm in Ron Wyden's voice there.
Oh, the governor likes to be riding a winner. He's riding on a winner today.
Wyden likes to be riding. That's almost a Ryan.
He's not a governor, sorry, a senator.
But you know it. We all knew what you were getting at. So it's a good day, and it is a sure bet that I do think it is going to be a success here in Portland with the way that this city loves not only all of its sports, but it definitely loves its women's sports as well. So
let me ask you a question about that. Okay, they're coming in as the expansion team.
Mm-hmm.
That usually means a few years of not being a very good team, and I think we can kind of agree on that. Will it be successful if it doesn't bounce up real quick and be pretty competitive?
I think it will. This because I think there's a lot here though, Dwight. I think you got to be able to ride the wave as it's going. You also need to understand there's going to be Golden State, there's going to be Toronto, there's going to be a couple expansion teams that might be struggling through this. But if you can continue to ride the Caitlin Clark wave, the Angel Reese wave, the days that Sabrina comes into town, Cameron Brink, who's a homegrown, Southridge and Mountainside High School, right? When those come into town, and maybe they're not your team, but you can ride that wave of look who's coming into town, look what you get to see because you have a team now. I think you can find success in those early years. Now, there's only going to be so long that people are going to accept poor play, right? You got to get it at some point. But I would say at this point in time, the people who enjoy the WNBA and want it are so starved for that product that they're going to enjoy it. If we got baseball tomorrow, Dwight, and the team was as good as the Oakland Athletics, which is to say they would be bad, I'd still be excited. And I'd be find ways to go to games because baseball's in town.
You always get a honeymoon when you come in at first. Yeah. I realize that. I was speaking like a year or two down the road. And I'm not sure, like, say that takes you 3 or 4 years down the road from where you are now. Is the Caitlin Clark thing still going to be a factor?
See, and that's
Angel Reese. Are these people going to continue to be drawing cards in the league, or is there probably be somebody else that's the new exciting player?
And that is a great point because I do think at some point the Caitlin Clark bubble bursts, right? Because she comes to town and it's the 3rd, 4th, 5th time she's been in town. It's not the spectacle anymore. I mean, Steph Curry and LeBron, like LeBron's first go when he's a rookie and everyone's like, look at this guy. I mean, he's putting butts in seats, but after a while he's still putting butts in seats, but it's not the exact same when he's on the road, right? So I do think that matters, and I do think you got to pay close attention to the women's basketball game in college hoops because who is the next star? Someone we mentioned earlier, Paige Beckers is definitely a star right now, and she's going to be good, and I think she's going to be able to get people to ride the wave with whatever team she lands on. But who's the person after that, right, in the college game that is going to be the face and then continue to – so you got to find ways to continue to build stars and understand something that we've been saying a lot and a lot of players and fans of the game have been saying that as good as Caitlin Clark has been for the sport, there's a lot of important players and talented players and players outside of her that you can latch on to as well. So how do you market that effectively over the years? So again, if the Caitlin Clark bubble bursts, there's still another bubble there that keeps people interested.
Yeah.
That's a hard part.
Yeah, it is. And it's really hard to see what the economy might be like in those days and what, the college sports are going to look like in those days. It's a long time off, really.
It really is. It absolutely is.
First year is going to be
26.
26.
So that's 2 years from now. There's going to be another season without this team yet. And then they'll come in, and you got to see how do things play out when it comes to obviously the expansion draft and the regular draft and free agency and players you can get in. There's the pipe dream. We saw you sent the tweet. This is from Alex Tam. He said Sabrina becomes a free agent in the summer of 2026. Portland's WNBA team begins play in 2026. Couldn't think of a better player to build a franchise around. I'm 100% with you. Couldn't think of a better player to build your franchise around in Portland. However, do you think Sabrina, who maybe a homer take because I'm a Duck, but I think is a better basketball player than Caitlin Clark all the way around, right?
Yeah.
Is she going to want to sign with the expansion franchise that she doesn't even know what a roster looks like yet? Or is she going to want to re-sign with the Liberty that has been good with her? Is she going to want to sign with the Fever and play next to Caitlin Clark and be a championship contender? Like, those things matter.
Or if she's coming back to the West Coast, would she like to be home?
Right?
Sacramento, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have a team.
Are they?
Yeah.
Is this a fact?
I think they are.
Okay. It would make sense. That's a growing city.
Yeah.
She's going to want to go there. You also have the Sparks. She is also married to a former Duck center, Hronis Grasu, who is from the L.A. area. So both of them being California kids. I mean, that matters. Hello. I mean, you've seen Sabrina. She is an Oregon Duck, but she doesn't love Portland. I mean, she came to Portland wearing a Steph Curry jersey, right? Because she's loves Steph in the Bay Area. So those things matter too.
Yeah, and I think being the competitor she is, if she becomes a free agent, she's probably going to go where she has the best chance to win.
I would agree.
And that would probably not be an expansion team.
Now, don't get me wrong. I selfishly want her here.
Right.
She, makes me enjoy the WNBA. I loved her at Oregon, right? If you want to put a Duck back home, I'd love it. I'd love it. So, but I just don't think it's in the cards. Now, maybe, like I said, Cameron Brink. Bring her back, though. Bring me and selfishly give me OSAA content that I can churn out for my other job too. Okay,
yeah.
Bring her back. Maybe you get Kelsey Plum. There's Husky. She's also Pacific Northwest. Ties with that. Bring her. She's phenomenal. She's one of my favorite players in the league as well. She's high up on my list. It's like her and Evan Turner and like the all-time I just want to sit at a table and have a drink and shoot the breeze with because they're just ultra entertaining.
Yeah.
Evan Turner, it's Evan Turner, and then the list is everybody else below him.
Yeah.
He's one of the most entertaining people we ever got a chance to cover.
He is.
And a pretty good guy in all the accounts that we had. But again, there's a lot still to decipher. Dwight, you gotta build rosters, you gotta hire coaches, you gotta do this, you gotta do that.
Well, and you got to scout the heck out of the league next summer because you got to find the players that are going to be made available to you in the expansion draft. There will be an expansion draft, I'm sure, where each team will protect X number of players.
Yes.
Often in the NBA, it's been 8. You can protect 8 or 9, and then the rest of them are out there for you to draft. And you can only take one player from each team usually. Now, this might be different. There's more teams coming in. I don't know how they're going to do it, but you better be familiar with every person on every roster in that league.
Have to.
It's going to be really important.
You have to. There's going to be some talent available. Got to hire a good coach too.
Yeah.
Wonder if an expansion franchise can pull Don Staley out of old South Carolina.
No, I don't know about that.
Yeah. Can you get Becky Hammond to leave Las Vegas? Portland seems to love her.
If Portland does, yeah. I don't know how much the league does, given her problems lately.
I still contend. What's Jackie Stiles up to? Bring back a legend, all right? Have some fun. Let's take a break, Dwight. Give you a second to get your thoughts together because it's time to hand out high fives, okay? We're going to hand out high fives when we come back right here on your home, the Blazers, Rip City Radio, 620. All right, Dwight, it is high five time. Who you got today?
Well, I'm gonna give my high five to the WNBA because they made the right decision coming to Portland and adding a team here.
Darn right. Well, I'm going to give my high five to my children for creating an incredible list of names, including the pufferfish and the rainbows.
I think the rainbows might well be a winner.
Rainbows is a good one.
Yeah.
I still, like I said, I applaud my daughter for paying attention to you and creating not only giving you a name option, but a short name of it as well.
I applaud her too because not that many people pay attention to me. I'm really happy to hear somebody does.
Nobody loves hitting that high five button more than Michael Shacker.
Wears it out.
But you're right. It's a good day for basketball fans in the state. WNBA coming back. There will still be some more expansion news along the way. I'm sure they'll add another team or two, put them at 15 right now with the Portland team. And, of course, you have the Golden State Valkyries and the Toronto, I believe, yet to be named team coming in next season, I believe. And so give me one more. Give me an even 16. But good to see the expansion of the league. I did just see a USA Today article, though, Dwight. It sounds like they happened to catch up with former Portland Fire great Jackie Stiles.
Oh,
and
really?
This is what she had to say today.
So many great memories from playing in Portland, and it really hurt my heart when, our team folded, but it was just so supported, the WNBA, by the community. We had one of the biggest, attendance in the league at that time. And so it was just crushing when we found out that we were no longer going to have a team because our fans were incredible and so loyal, and they gave me so many amazing memories from that time. I think a lot has changed with how the WNBA is structured, and now the explosion of the WNBA, the popularity, and, that area always supports its women's basketball. And so I just think it would be a great fit, for Portland to have a team, and it will last, they will support it, and it will just be a great addition to the WNBA, I have no doubt.
There you go. The legend herself.
Yeah.
She has spoken.
I'm glad you remembered her. A lot of people probably wouldn't.
I tell you what, more people remember Jackie Stiles than you would think. Again, it was a short window, man, but there was a little bit of hype around it.
Well, she was an exciting player.
She was really good, really, really good, and yeah. So, like I said, I think it'd be great if there was a way to maybe get her involved with the franchise a little bit, bring back the great, show some respect, have a little fun. But we'll see what happens. There's still a long way to go here, Dwight. They're not going to play for another year and a half or so, and so you still got general managers to hire and front office staff and coaches and personnel and
scouts.
Scout and an expansion draft and
salespeople.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you got to pick a name. That might be the most important part. We spent an entire show talking about it. So I don't know. It's just always fun when your city's good enough to get an expansion for a sport. It's just kind of fun.
It is, and I think what's interesting that we haven't really talked about is where are they going to play? Because we know at some point there's going to be renovations planned for the Moda Center, and they're going to have to occur in the summer, which is when the WNBA play. Now, I have been told that they are going to play in the Moda Center the first year, but then sometime after that, the renovations will take place. Now, maybe they'll start this next summer before they play. I don't know. But I had heard it was going to take 2 summers to really do what they want to do. So we'll see how that turns out, too. They said probably play in Memorial Coliseum. My thought was I'd be thinking about going out to University of Portland playing.
It was interesting. I was just going to throw that out there. I'm looking at this article. Don't know exactly how accurate the numbers are, but the Indiana Fever are drawing about 17,000 people right now, and that makes sense because they're going crazy. Liberty at 12, Las Vegas at 11. At the bottom of the league is Atlanta Dream at 4,700.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, your number would be lower than that if you're playing at Chiles Center, but good little arena, They put a little bit of time into that to get it ready for the Rip City remix, right? So we know that it can handle at least a G League team. You'd probably sell that thing out. I've sat in both. I think I'd rather watch a game at Childs than VMC right now.
Oh, I think so too. And you wouldn't have the conflicts with the Winterhawks, which might make it harder for you to get. Although, the Winterhawks aren't playing in the summer either, so they would probably get the arena when they wanted to. I just think the Child Center is a more comfortable building, and at the same time, it's more fun when the building's sold out and it's noisy than if it isn't, And so I don't know what they're going to draw, but maybe that building's going to be big enough.
Yep. It also would give you a small attendance numbers, but you'd have to think that the Viking Pavilion might be in the running as well. It's a
really nice arena.
Oh my gosh, Dwight! If you haven't been down there, it's top notch for people who haven't been. It's beautiful. And
it's just not big enough.
No, it's not. It's smaller than Child Center. It only holds about 3,500.
Yeah, it's about half of the Child Center, really.
And so it's, but the way it's built, super high, all really nice seats, good concourse. It's a very, very intimate setting. Preston and I were fortunate enough to call a Portland State game out there a couple years ago, and it's beautiful. And I had been to the old Portland State gym too, and that doesn't even compare to that.
Yeah,
man.
I used to do PA there when I was going to school there. Yeah, when I was coaching there, they had me do that.
Yeah.
It was just like basically a high school gym, about what it was.
You know what, Dwight? What wouldn't be a bad idea is something we talked about the other day about preseason. But if you're a brand new franchise and they're taking the summer away to work on Moda, maybe you can head down to Gill and Matthew Knight Arena and hit a couple home games in Corvallis and Eugene for some unique fan bases that might not usually get to come up to Portland to see you, drum up a little interest. So maybe some of those people who were on the fence might start making the pilgrimage up north to catch your game.
Yeah, especially if you happen to have a player on your roster from one of those college programs, which can happen in that league. There's a lot of kind of regional draft picks.
Yeah, absolutely.
People take players from the local colleges. It helps draw fans.
Yeah, there's definitely options. That's for sure. And like I said, I go back to what I said yesterday, Dwight, and that is if you decide to play at Veterans Memorial Coliseum for some of your games, and you're probably going to end up putting a little bit of money into that to upgrade it just a little bit, just make sure you give a little pat on the back and a little extra rub for the people who kept the lights on, and that is the Portland Winterhawks.
Yes.
They deserve it. So that's my 2 cents on the Winterhawks, but I don't know, man. VMC, Rose Garden, Moda, Childs, Pavilion, Gill, I don't care. I'm personally excited. WNBA's coming back, officially coming back.